it's Emily. So I am back with that Libby video that I promised I would do. It's been a little bit, hasn't it? Anyways, let's get started. So this video is actually aimed specifically for iPad, iPhone users. If you do have an Android, we will be coming out with something like that soon. Just so you know though, we are kind of doing this little work from home / rotate into the building schedule right now. So it's hard to touch base with someone who has that device and then get everything set up so that we can all record. But let's do this part first. So you get your iPhone, you get your iPad out. Make sure that you're connected to the internet at home, or if you have a data plan on those things, you can also download over data. But the first step is always going to be going to the App Store, which is the blue icon with the white, they kind of look like popsicle sticks to me on here. And it's in the upper right hand corner of my screen right now, but you'll find the App Store. We'll go there. Depending on which tab you were on last, you may be on a different one than I am, but I'm going to tap on search in the bottom right corner of my screen. And then up where it says games, apps, stories, and more, I'll tap in that field and type in Libby. Now, proper grammar, punctuation, any of that, it doesn't really matter. The App Store is smart enough to kind of figure out what you're looking for anyways. Libby is the app that you see in the upper right side of the screen, Libby by Overdrive. It's the purple icon with the head popping over the top of the book. Yours might look a little different than mine. It may say get rather than have that little cloud with the down arrow icon. That's just because I've had Libby on this iPad before, and so it's reminding me, hey, you already got this thing. You don't really need to get it again. But if yours says get, you're going to tap on get, and it will start downloading after it asks you for your Apple ID. Some of you may have your Apple ID password saved on your device, so that may not even be an issue like mine. Once it's done, you're going to hit open. And that should bring us right into Libby. Now, what I love about Libby is that it takes you through setup the very first time that you open it, and then you really don't have to go through setup ever again. Really fantastic. Definitely an improvement over the last Overdrive app where I felt like you had to sign in about 3 times before you could actually get anywhere. Anyways, I'm not complaining. Step 1 of getting the Libby app to start working for you is to answer the first question. Do you have a library card? So you're going to hit yes. And then on this step, you're going to do I'll search for a library. Now, this part you do have to be specific. You have to put in the full name, Brooks Free Library, because if you just put in Brooks or Brooks Free, it searches and gives me a random library in England, which is really neat, but not useful at this moment. So you're going to search. You'll tap on Clams, Brooks Free Library, and then you'll tap on Enter Library Account Details. This is where you're going to want to have your library card out. You'll be putting in the number of your card with no spaces. That's an important part. And we do suggest that you use the card number as opposed to a username just because there's less issues with a card number that we've noticed. Sometimes usernames can get a little tricky, and that's no fun for anyone. All right, and then we're going to hit sign in. You'll see your card pop up. You'll hit next, and you are in. Now, don't be afraid if your screen looks different than mine. I have dark mode on this iPad, meaning the background of most things is black. Just makes it easier on my eyes if I'm holding this above my head in the middle of the night trying to read something so I'm not squinting at the blinding white screen. But this is Libby. Yours may have a white background, gold banner around the top, some blue up there. Now, there are 2 places that you really want to look out for on the Libby app, just to know where you are. Library on the bottom left is where you'll be when you're searching for books. Shelf on the bottom right is where you'll find things that you have already borrowed, things that you have placed on hold, and things that you have tagged. All right, so I'm going to go back to the library and I'm just going to go over searching for and borrowing a book. Now, you have a couple options. Clams has these lists on the front page which update pretty regularly. They let you see new things added to the collection, new special collections. Craftapalooza looks like it is in, so that's pretty cool. You can also sort by subject, see what's going on there. Those are pretty fun, I think, to go through and just kind of keep up on what's going on. You'll also see the Big Library Read at the top, which is a great thing. It's a simultaneous use book, which means everyone can read it at the same time. There's no hold list for a certain period of time. That's something that Overdrive itself has put together, and we're going to have some more information on that soon. So, let's say you want to search for a book that's by a specific author, by a specific title, in a certain series. You can do that. If you go to search for a book at the top, where the magnifying glass is, and tap on that, you can start typing things in. So I'm going to use, who am I going to use? Let's just use Patterson. He's my go-to example for most things. So you see that I stuck in Patterson at the top. And this is what's really neat about Libby and what I really like. So on the list of possible things that you could mean, you can tap on the name of the author and it will tell you author, or if you go further down, you see the Patterson Canon Family Saga series. So you can get a good sense of like, oh, well, if you know one word in a series name and you search for it, it may pop up. Really handy. But I'm just going to go to James Patterson author for this. Now, you do have some limiters up at the top where it says everything matching James Patterson. You can sort this list a little bit better to fit your needs by choosing like audiobooks, 178 books, and tapping on any of those, and that will limit what you see on here to just show you the 206 audiobooks, etc., etc. Something to note when you're looking at books, anything with the little calendar icon next to the title, author name, top area is something that has a hold list. You can also tell because it says place hold rather than borrow. Anything that has borrow or the little plus sign with an almost full circle around it is available to read. And if you tap on any of these covers, you'll get some more information about the book itself, along with other things in the series, things like that. All right, so I'm going to go back. Let's do Along Came a Spider. So I want to borrow this. I'm going to tap on borrow. Fun fact, if you go up to where it says 14 days and tap on that, you have the option of choosing 21 days. Pretty handy, isn't it? We didn't advertise that widely because hold lists are already pretty massive, but if you are a little bit of a slower reader, you've got a lot going on right now, you want the security of knowing, hey, this is going to be on my shelf for 3 weeks, feel free to tap the 21 days and change it. If you're a speed reader, tap 7 days. Live dangerously. Once you're ready, you're going to hit borrow. And then you can do any of the 3 options you see below. You're going to see open in book, keep browsing, go to shelf. I'm going to do go to shelf, which brings me to the shelf side of everything. And you can see your recent loans listed down below along with things you already have checked out. So I'm going to go to this one and do read with. And here's where you have the option. If you have a Kindle Paperwhite, a black and white Kindle, you can do send to Kindle with the Kindle button. It will open up an Amazon screen, which makes you log into Amazon and then hit send to Kindle. I'm not going to do that on here because while I do have my personal Kindle, it is linked to my personal Libby account, which is not this. And I also don't feel like reading Along Came a Spider. So I'm going to use Libby. Libby is a really great app for reading. You've got a lot of customization in it. If you tap up anywhere at the top, you can kind of change the view and the layout. You can check for reading secrets, tips and secrets on the side. And you just swipe through to read. I'm not going to go much further because of copyright issues. As you are reading, it will save where you are. So if you hit back at any point, you'll still open up to that page you were on. You don't have to worry about losing your place. Same goes for audiobooks. You'll be borrowing them, read in Libby, and then when it starts playing, you'll play, you'll pause, and it will pick up where you left off the next time you come back to that book. Now let's say you are ready to send something back to the library, you're done with it, you don't need the full 21 days. You're going to go to your shelf, where we already are, and you can do this from here, from the recent loans list, or you can go directly into loans and go that way, whichever you're more comfortable with. You're going to tap on Manage Loan, and you're going to tap on Return Early. That will send your book back to Clams so the next person can read it. Something else that's really neat about Libby that I like is if I tap on Manage Loan, I can also tap on Along Came a Spider #1 in a series and see a whole bunch of extra details, which is really handy if you are trying to work your way through a series and you're like, I don't know what book I'm on, I don't know what day it is. Really useful. You can also tag things, so that's something that is quite handy. Oops, I hit the wrong thing. I'm going to go Along Came a Spider, view book details in library. On any book's full extended page, no matter how you get to it, if you get to it from your shelf, if you get to it from the library side of Libby, you can use this tag option, which lets you do custom tags if you want, but I like to think of them as the to be read pile, your TBR pile. I like this thing, I don't like this thing. You can tag them like that so you can kind of keep track of what you've been reading. Now, what's great with Libby, though, is that it does have a reading history for you, and it does show you your recent returns, so you don't really need to worry too much about that. You can manage all your settings as well by going to clamsnet.overdrive.com and get some more in-depth control on what your preferences are. So setting your default to 14 days versus 7 days versus 21 days, etc. That's essentially Libby. I'm not going to get into too much else just yet. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with us. Again, library staff are in the building on a rotational basis. There's going to be at least one person there every day at this time. So if you call us, we'll most likely pick up the phone. And if you email us, it's going to be brooksfreelibrary@clamsnet.org. All right? You can find all that contact information on our website, brooksfreelibrary.org. It's kind of at the bottom of the page. You have to scroll down a bit, but it is there. So feel free to get in touch with us. Message us on Facebook, message us on Instagram. And yeah, that is the Libby video.